What's good, YouTube fam? I'm back with the second video on the channel, and today I'm gonna be showing y'all my top 5 tips to win every fight in the Gulag. But before y'all watch this, make sure y'all go check out yesterday's video, Best Gun in Warzone. Links are gonna be in the description, and let me know what y'all think of that. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Starting off the list with number 5, the first tip I'm gonna be giving y'all today is don't be overly aggressive. Basically, what I mean when I say this is there's a lot of people who camp in a smoke. So if you get in the match and you just blindly rush your enemy, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna die just because they're gonna be sitting at the spawn waiting for you to rush. Now, I'm not saying rushing don't work, but if you're new to the game and your gun skill it really isn't at its best, I wouldn't recommend just rushing. But if you're watching the gameplay in the background, you might be looking like, you rushing in this video, so how come you telling us not to rush? That's because I've been playing Call of Duty for a really long time, and I take a lot of pride in my gun skill. But if you're new to the game, I wouldn't just say rushing, because it's harder to hit your shots when you running and sliding and jumping and all that. So you kind of have to take it a little bit more slow as you first start off. But if you're precise with your shots, rushing is a good strategy. With that being said, that's all for tip 5, so let's go ahead and get into tip 4. Next off, we got tip 4, and tip number 4 is going to be paying attention to the rocks. This tip is actually quite simple because all you have to do is look where the crowd are throwing the rocks, and you can usually just get a good general idea of where the other guy is. Although you don't want to spend too much time doing this because sometimes the crowd is either not throwing rocks or you might miss your enemy just because you're too focused on where the rocks are going. I myself don't personally use this tip too much, so you won't really see it in the gameplay in the background, although my friends do tell me it's a really good strategy to use. That's all for tip 4. I would really recommend trying this one as it's a really interesting strategy, and I will personally be implementing this one into my own game. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into tip number 3. Tip number 3 is going to be another simple one, and this is just simply going to be get your opponent aggravated before the fight. Now, this isn't one that you could do every round because sometimes you won't actually see your opponent before you fight, but if it's one of the matches where you're up in the crowd with everyone else, just throw rocks at them, punch them, do anything to get them aggravated and make them want to kill you even more. The reason I say this is because the more aggravated someone is, the more aggressive they're going to play you. So if you could get them to blindly rush you without thinking, you could usually pick up an easy kill by just sitting back and playing a bit more passive. Although this one might not work every time, there's really no downside to trying it. This is one I actually use every opportunity I get, as it's personally one of my favorites, and just like all the other tips, I recommend at least trying it once because you never know if it's going to work for you or not. With that being said, that wraps up tip number 3, but don't click off the video just yet because we're almost to tip number 1, and that's without a doubt the best tip to win every fight in the Gulag. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into tip number 2. Tip number 2 is going to be don't camp. Please don't be that guy sitting at the spawn waiting for somebody to rush you. There's 2 main reasons I don't promote camping. Reason 1 why I don't promote it is it really doesn't take any skill and it doesn't help you get any better. If you're just sitting at the spawn camping, not really moving or doing anything, you're not getting any better by doing that. You're not bettering your aim, your movement skills, or anything. You're just really being a sitting duck, and it's really not fun for either party, so I would really recommend not camping. Reason number 2 I don't support it is just really not a good strategy. If you're just sitting in the back not really moving, you're making yourself an easy kill because you're not doing anything to not get hit. But there's nothing wrong with campers though. I don't hold anything personally against them, but I just don't like camping and I don't recommend camping. But at the end of the day, it does all come down to personal preference. Some people like camping and some people don't. I just personally myself don't like camping. That's all for tip number 2 though, so if you made it here, you're probably ready to hear what's the best tip to win every fight in the Gulag. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So what's the best tip to win every fight in the Gulag? It's actually quite simple. Just go to the middle of the arena, and if you're standing in the right spot, you're going to be able to see the whole arena. Now, I'm actually going to put some gameplay of this in the background so you can see exactly what I mean. But if you're standing right here, there's no way where your enemy could come from where you can't see them. So basically, as soon as you see them, all you have to do is just push them and get that easy kill. And it's really that simple. Now, this strategy does take some trial and error because you have to get into the right spot and you have to be able to hit your shots. But if you really get the strategy down pat, you're going to win almost every fight in the Gulag, or at least 50%. As you can see, I'm going to put clips in the background of me using the strategy with different guns and getting that easy kill. But if your opponent does end up waiting to clock out and it comes down to having to secure the objective, I would just go ahead and push forward because most of the time you just push your enemy, especially at the end like that, they're not going to expect it and it's going to be a lot easier to pick up the kill. But that's it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think of the second video in the channel. Let me know what y'all thought of the video down below. Comment some video ideas because I'm going to be trying to upload every single day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you made it this far to the video, comment down below T-Gang, y'all. Comment down below T-Gang if you made it to the end. And I'm going to see you guys soon. Peace.